Well, look what's inside the Vape Shack today. The PAX 4. PAX have only gone and sent us a PAX 4 to review. So, let's have a look. One of the important things to note here is, on the back, it says the purchase of this product supports the removal of twice as much plastic waste from nature as is used in the product, in partnership with Repurpose Global. I think that's a really laudable thing to do for a major company to actually start doing something about the environment. And it fits in with the packaging actually, which is minimalist. So we've got the slogan, aim higher. We've got the greenstone, upside down. We've got the greenstone version of the PAX 4 here. It comes in onyx as well. Now, this really is a little gemstone. This is just so Apple and it's so minimal. It's just functional. It does its job. Steve Jobs actually used cannabis when he was younger. And obviously, who knows whether he used it in his fight against pancreatic cancer. But I suspect if he did, the PAX would have been his go-to device, the one that really kind of enthused him about that whole kind of thing. It's tactile, it feels so Apple. It really is one of those design icons that you go. And just to highlight actually, that the PAX 4 looks like it's been on a protein diet, been down the gym, built up its whole body. Actually, I believe, has been redesigned so that it can have this hybrid heating system, which we'll get into. But what I do want to say is, the PAX solid device, always been there for me. I've taken my PAX Plus to festivals and I've just thrown it around and it just works. That thing will work. I don't advise to throw your PAX around. I'm just demonstrating it is a solid device. And that comes from the anodized aluminium tube. Now, you've got anodized aluminium, you've got silicone mouthpiece, you've got peak plastic oven lid. All of these are really good materials for a vaporizer. One of the things about a vaporizer is it is an oven effectively. It gets hot. And once things get hot, they tend to give off vapors and gases. You know, with the PAX, you're not going to get anything untoward, toxic. The material safety in it is as good as it gets. So what else do we get in the PAX package? We get the universal tool. I really like these. Stick them on a keyring, take them with you. They're brilliant. We get 3 oven screens. We get the cleaning brush. Now, the cleaning brush is really important. The most important thing here is to keep your PAX clean at all times. I used to clean my PAX Plus every week or so. I tend to find that using the PAX 4 on the same kind of cycle, I need to clean it more often. And we'll go into that as we go through the review. But this is really important because the air pathway is a relatively small tube that runs down the body of the vaporizer. Now, one of the things you get with the PAX is, if you don't like the flat mouthpiece, you get a more raised mouthpiece like that. Personally, I prefer the flat one because then you end up kissing your PAX, which I quite like. You can tell. I like my PAX. So, we get the charging cable, USB-C, ideal. We get the basic instruction manual with your ubiquitous QR code to take you to the website to find out all the other things. First impressions. Well, to me, as I've said, I really like these devices. They fit in my hand perfectly. They are just really good vaporizers that you can take anywhere. It is really interesting that they've thought about things now, and they've got sloped sides down into the oven. which means when you put in your herb, it's so much easier. You don't have as much wastage as when it's a flat oven chamber. It's a simple thing, but it's so effective. And the redesigned lid, it's so much better than the old ones, which took forever to take off. So overall, first impressions, design-wise, brilliant. Like it. Now, what is underneath the hood? Inside of here, you've got the really smart bit of the device. So, let's give you a 101 on how vaporizers and packs in particular have changed the technology. So, let's just think in the kitchen. In the kitchen, we have an old traditional oven. It heats the outside and the heat dissipates from those sides and radiates into the center. Now, that is the equivalent of conduction in a vaporizer. So a vaporizer that uses conduction heats the outside of the oven, and the heat is transmitted through the herb to the center, but obviously you get a temperature gradient. So where the herb is in contact with the oven wall, it is going to be hotter than in the center, so you get uneven distribution of heating. Whereas with the PAX 4 hybrid system, you get convection as well. Now convection, think of it like your air fryer. So in your air fryer, you heat the air to actually get an even cook across your food. Exactly the same thing in these vaporizers. So the convection process is you heat air as it comes in the vaporizer, and then as you are inhaling on the vaporizer, you are drawing that air through the oven material, and as long as you haven't compressed it too much, that air flows through the herb and you get a much more even extraction. And actually that's demonstrated by when you empty the chamber of a PAX 4, you get a much more even browning of the herb than you did the older PAXs, because they only used conduction, so they had this temperature differential across the whole chamber, which meant you get flecks of green in it, that's wastage. You want maximum efficiency, and that's what this PAX does. The other thing to note about this PAX 4 is it's a smart cookie. It's got thermal cutout. So if the temperature of the device reaches 55 degrees, which is going to be pretty hot in your hand, let's face it, but you can get a silicone sleeve to go over it, it turns off to protect the device. So effectively, this thing is quite smart. It's got an accelerometer in there, which means when you've switched it on and it's not detecting any movement, it will go into standby mode. That mode is to conserve, one, your herb, but also to protect your battery. Now, the whole PAX 4 setup means that it's a little bigger. It's got this fancy schmancy hybrid heating system, which is really effective, by the way. But it's battery life. It takes a lot to run that heating. So the battery life on the PAX is not quite as good as the older PAX models, but the extraction efficiency, I think, is a lot higher. So you've got the petals here. Now those petals, purple, green, yellow, and red, these are all different extraction profiles. You've got your first petal, which is purple. Your purple petal is 190. Then you've got your green petal, the second one round, that's about 200. And then you've got your yellow one, which is about 210. And then you've got your red one, which is 220. Now, each one of these petals represents a flavor profile. The way packs suggest that they work, that cloud chasers, you want to be on red. However, I find that vapor very warm on the back of my throat. I prefer to settle at the green number 2 petal, and that works perfectly for me. It extracts what I need. I'm not a cloud chaser. If you're a cloud chaser, you need to be on the yellows and the reds. So, should we take it for a spin? Let's give the old packs a little run for its money. So we're using our standard testing flower, which is a UK grown CBD flower. We put in, and you can see that you just tamp it down just a little bit on the top. Just make sure that you haven't compressed it. You've got enough in there. I'm just going to take a little bit out because there's no point in wasting. And it's so easy to fill. It's so easy just to get the exact amount you need. Put the oven lid on, hold the button, hold it for 2 seconds. You get haptic feedback, a nice little assurance that you're getting. You want to change the temperatures. You press it once, so we're just on the second petal, my favorite green. If we wanted to go to red, press it once, press it again, and you're cycling through the petals. So let me do that again. We're on purple, we're moving to green, we're going to yellow, we're going to red. So we want green. Now, you can either leave it for 3 seconds and it'll, as it did, just change temperature. It just moves up to the temperature and starts heating. So when it's flashing with this lovely purple color, actually, it's heating up. Now, if I wanted to change it again, I'll press it once and I can go to the yellow. I can shake it. And that then sets the temperature, locks it in. Now, I don't want that. I want to go back to my green, which I did. Just shake it. And now it's on its heating mode. This is one of the things about the PAX 4. It is not the fastest heater in the world, let me say. I would go and make a cup of coffee, make your tea. It'll come back. Hey, patience is a virtue, and things are worth waiting for. Now, there we go. It's just reached temperature, turned green. This is now good to go. So, the thing here is, I like to kiss it. It's a sip. It is not a rip. Just sip at it. You see, that flavor on the first one or two. It's so flavoursome. It really is. Now, by the third, it's starting to change. By the third time you've taken an inhale, the flavoured profile is starting to change, or it does for me anyway. Now, I rarely go to the yellow, but I'm going to do it for the purposes of this demonstration. So we've just gone to yellow. The flavor profile has changed again, and you get a lot more vapor. It's still really smooth. I mean, we're talking jazz, silky smooth. There's some good vapor here. The thing about the PAX is that it's convenient, it fits in your hand, and actually as it warms up, it is so warming that it gives you a real sense of contentment, or it does me anyway. So, we've got our PAX. We've used our PAX. How about cleaning? Cleaning in the packs is one of the easiest vaporizers to clean. All you need to do is, let's turn it off. Let's just give it a minute to cool down, and then we will open it up. So here we go. Take the lid off. Down there is the tube that runs all the way to the oven. Now that tube going down that length there is the vapor path. It's isolated. So it's a stainless steel tube that runs all the way down the vaporizer. This is why this cleaning brush is so important, because you need to run it down there when you clean it. And it's so easy to clean. You just take this off, you take this off, you take the screen out at the bottom, you use cleaning solution, you are good to go. There are none of the complicated things that you get on some of the other vaporizers where you've got to take bits apart and plastic components. This is relatively easy to clean. Its operation is one-handed. You can switch this on. So the PAX is a really nice device for anybody that is looking to use medical cannabis and doesn't use it all day, every day, continuously. The reason I say that is, one, the battery life is not as good. I think that if you are really pulling on this to rip everything you can out of your medical cannabis, it will end up in that overheat mode. And that's not a good place to be, because the battery, the whole device is having to work harder. So if you're really trying to rip things apart, don't get a PAX 4. But if you're like me, you're a medium user, and most of the time I use my medical cannabis in the evening, this is perfect. It really is perfect. If you go out and you use medical cannabis, again, for me it's perfect. It looks stylish. It actually becomes a talking point when you pull it out and you say, I just need to medicate. People ask you, wow, what's that? And that creates that conversation that changes the way people approach cannabis use. Because this is a really clean and efficient way to consume cannabis that has minimal impact on the people around you. Whereas when you're consuming a joint, it's like cigar smoke. I hate the smell of cigar smoke. I also hate the smell of combusted cannabis, especially when it's mixed with tobacco. And the whole thing really stinks. And actually, that's one of the important things about how the future is going to go in the UK. All the surveys suggest the biggest issue the public have with cannabis is the smell of cannabis. Kemi Badenoch said it herself. She walks down the street and she just smells cannabis everywhere. With a PAX, it's very discreet. You don't smell cannabis. It's healthier. PAX have produced these videos that actually prove the science about how much healthier it is. This is the future of using medical cannabis, in my opinion.